on a 2-week tour of France. France, so easy to fall in love with, every scrumptious little cute This is as the end goal of the game of catching up with Lewis Hamilton. Yes, pilgrimage is a grandiose phrase. It is a slow process, just the same, travelling around France for 2 weeks. But it could be described as celebrity stalking, really, I suppose. Or perhaps we could align ourselves with paparazzi. It's not much different, is it? But of equal draw to this holiday from the trip is the iconic, the famous Monaco Grand Prix, older than the Formula 1 calendar itself. I confess that I'm not so much into the racing myself. Growing up, I used to be enthralled and grotesquely fascinated by the crashes, and a couple of people have ended up in the harbour. It's a short circuit, 1 minute 10 seconds to get around it. Well, you can increase that by half as much again if it's wet, but anyway. We're off to Monaco, one of those last city-states.
These are the masters of speed.
Lewis Hamilton has got the fastest ever time. The wet weather time is about the same as the nearby French Grand Prix fastest lap record. All Grand Prix are about 50 odd laps and about 300 odd kilometres. Monaco's the only one that's allowed to be shorter. It takes longer. I thought I'd chosen one to get your money's worth. It's an expensive game, even for spectators. We've stayed nearby, just a couple of train stops away, Villefranche-sur-Mer, I think it is. A very generous sized flat, looking out onto the sea with those stripy awnings. And we'll be extending our paparazzi-like celebrity stalking by going off to the Cannes Film Festival after. The French Grand Prix circuit, slightly under 6 kilometres. Monaco, slightly over 3 kilometres. 2 miles to get round. But our Circuit de France is 3,000 or 4,000 kilometres in our vintage sports car over the 2-week period. A Lotus-based frame made of aluminium with a Vauxhall saloon car engine, OEM from the manufacturer. Stripped back, it's a lightweight machine, all really down on the ground and with a bit of agility to get into it. And over the sill, and once you're in there you feel every lump and bump of the road.
This is Formula One.
Verstappen or Leclerc that gets away the best. It's lights out and away we go. Leclerc reacts very well, but Verstappen always ready alongside him. Lewis Hamilton ahead of Sergio Perez. Here into turn 1 we go. Charles Leclerc ahead of Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton ahead of Perez, George Russell making a challenge on Perez and ahead of Lando Norris. There is Fernando Alonso swooping around the outside and up into 4th place.
There is the Paul Ricard Formula 1 circuit at La Castellette, which is in Provence. I suppose we're doing a tour of France, aren't we? This is the French Grand Prix in the Formula 1 calendar, or should I say it was, between 2018 and 2022. It's been replaced with Las Vegas in America. But I'm sure it'll be back again. It was built in 1969 with Jackie Stewart winning in 1971. It has had a long hiatus. Ricard is the aniseed drink. When you add water to it, it goes cloudy, a bit sort of absinthe, really, I suppose. It's like the national drink in France, or it certainly used to be. It's also managed by Paul Ricard and the family, and an island off the Côte d'Azur, their own private island. The Castellet, the medieval town, village, and the racetrack, not far from Jerez on the coast, that you can get to just a 10-kilometre drive south. French Riviera. The French Riviera? Perhaps they should rename it that. The French Riviera one of the most revered coastlines in the world, thanks to the beautiful beaches, pretty harborside towns, great food, and if you fancy it, incredible local wines. Apart from the racing action, that's why you'd go there. The French Riviera, not so well known. As you can see though from some of the video insets, it's a track for drivers rather than spectators. It's got an even distribution of high, medium and low speed corners. It's a key reason why it's one of the most used test circuits in the world, and typically good weather is another. Formula 1 drivers love the 290 kilometres an hour right-hander at Signes and the 5G joyride of the following Bressant Bend, while the circuit's 2018 return to the Formula 1 calendar showed that the French Grand Prix is a bit of an overtaking gem. Even with the sure thing of DRS, the electric input overdrive thing that they have to recharge as they drive, there's only in certain zones, overtaking's too much of a rare thing in Formula 1 still. If and when it returns to its end of July slot, where do you want to sit to watch the race? The chicane series of grandstands put you at the best overtaking point on the track, as Sebastian Vettel proved during the 2018 fight back from 17th to 5th. While if you want to be closer to the fun and friendly Paul Ricard Paddock, bag seats at the Virage de Pont stands to watch cars making their way through the final corner before blasting away down the main straight and taking that checkered flag to finish. But we're off to Monaco for our Monaco Grand Prix pilgrimage. Great for spectators, you're close to the action. Not so great for overtaking. Historically, rather good for crashes, but I don't know if you're allowed to say. Of issues. Can you see France in a 2-week vacation? Is one of the questions we're trying to ask ourselves here, and many Americans think they can see the whole of Europe in a 2-week vacation. They can't. Get a flavour of, get to know, two very different things. If you're excluding Paris and the Ile-de-France, which is all that France is, in a way, yes, you can get round the country and start to feel like you're getting to know it. Its varied history and landscape, climate, people and customs give it a very different air in very different areas. All over, not so long ago, were city-states. We're off to Monaco, one of those last city-states, theoretically outside of France. It's on the bulbous protrusion of Provence that has its own special microclimate, slightly extended away from the Alps. Not in a rain shadow, it has more than its fair share of sunshine hours per year. Or is that just sales patter to accentuate its tax haven status? What is the enclave of Monaco and Monte Carlo like? And perhaps, to some more importantly, what is the Monaco Formula 1 like to experience? What you pay for your seats and who you're brushing shoulders with can be very important to that. A ginger-haired national radio DJ with a penchant for powder, drugs and young girl, they married, ran a national radio auction for Formula 1 experience day at weekend at Monaco that money couldn't buy. The landed gentleman that used to go to the same riding stables and the local Cotswold hunt offset his bid as a business expense and really did live like royalty. However, with every F1 ticket, and you will need a ticket, you won't be able to see through the fence. You will see one slide that I've included, one photo, which does show you just how little you'll be able to see, and you give yourself a structural problem trying to gaze through for that number of hours as well. But every ticket includes a pit walk, and the pit walk gives you just some little window on, well, the life of paparazzi for one thing. We did also experience that in Cannes Film Festival. But on the pit walk you really are given time, up close and personal. spend tens of thousands and cajole someone into renting your apartment above swimming pool corner or something. But up on the grassy knoll, there's a tree leaning out, windswept, that you can relax against, point your camera, and get €1,000,000 views. You can chat to like-minded people and go along with a prepared picnic, not in the heat of the stadium-like atmosphere. Obliged to wave at Max Verstappen orange colours, perhaps. As it was, I had 3 Polish guys pulling on my trouser leg most of the time that I was up in that little tree, thinking it wasn't some first come, first served thing. It was just a take turns, it's only natural. For all the world to me, the 3 Polish gentlemen were never going to take a reciprocal generosity if the tables were the other way round and they'd got up a little bit earlier in the morning. Up on the grassy knoll, you do have to stake your claim to the best spot. Take a picnic chair if you're up by the handrail. The bank is steep and you will slip down. Municipality itself, with its... You could walk from side to side of the municipality on the deck to deck of the multi-million-pound yachts, I think. The harbour is packed so dense. I've been here before though, it's certainly not like this all year round. It is for the festivals, shall we call them, of which there are a few. But considering all the semi-skyscraper-like buildings, it's not that highly occupied. The little bijou chez moi flats, apartments, condos, are only occupied theoretically for the number of days a year it takes to qualify for the tax status. And then they venture out into the greater hinterland that is France. Provence, formerly part of Turin. Of course you can fly here, and there's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't, other than this is a pilgrimage. The foothills of the Pyrenees. Almost Spain offers a high number of sunshine hours per year, and often high rainfall straight off the Atlantic. I went for where that rain falls as snow, in the Eastern Alps, south of Geneva, Savoy, not traditionally France, traditionally Italy. Linked by a mountain range to Nice and Caen, but only really to the Côte d'Azur by the River Rhône, and an equally developed motorway east. Hours of L-shaped motorway to the Côte d'Azur, 10 times faster than taking the Alpine route or the route Napoleon. It's also a route Hannibal is supposed to have taken somewhere, but no one's too sure. Mount Ventoux is given a mythical status, a bit like a yew tree in a old churchyard before the church. This was a optical line towards the end of the Ice Age, where pilgrims would head from Eastern Europe through, skirting the coast of the Mediterranean, to northwest Spain and Portugal. Santiago de Compostela pilgrimage route. I have only a cursory interest in Formula One in that it helps me fall asleep nicely on a Sunday afternoon after my lunch. Roast pork, beef or lamb and nice crispy potatoes. But for my partner, this is a pilgrimage to Monaco Grand Prix and Lewis Hamilton win. It will be a Lewis Hamilton win, everything is set, and everyone will be going home happy. Villefranche-sur-Mer. In a proper sports car, if you can get into it, you're low slung, you are sat on the floor and it's hard sprung suspension. You know about every mile that you're travelling. I'm not saying the road's bad in France at all, certainly the péage, that's their business. We did want to take the B roads, the back roads, and broadly speaking, though there were exceptions, I was pretty much limited to about 4 hours of travel at a time. Now, at 90 miles an hour, that's a fair distance. Straight off the ferry, you're fresh and enthusiastic. And you're thinking, looking at the Pentagon, I'd love to say, hang a left into the Loire. So that's where you'll already be up to Belgique and Germany. In one go, through the night. get most of the way to Bordeaux, and there for breakfast. Petit déjeuner. Now, Bordeaux is a pilgrimage in itself for many of us, worth its weight in claret. This is perhaps one of the first instances that you get the sense of expatriates. Certainly if you're in the wine and hospitality business, this would be a bit of a mecca for you in training terms, the same as you might think central London restaurants might be. And cultivating your French language skills would help you with your wealthy Russian private clients. Maybe looking to go into that yacht charter business, or just work your way up and through sommelierism, that elitist accompaniment to elitist food. There are many small parcels of vineyards come up for sale, and there's many an expat that's wanted the lifestyle choice of a vineyard. The social cachet of it all. You can meet the sons and daughters of these people that are the face of the business in Bordeaux. Now, Bordeaux is on a river estuary, a bit like the Mersey, I'm going to say, a bit like Liverpool is on the Mersey. It's not really by the seaside as such, but there is, not a million miles away, Dune de Pilat. There's also La Rochelle and the Ile de Ré, where apparently half of Paris disappears off to every summer. We're on the west coast of France. The Gironde River on a map almost seems like it's been windswept away from perpendicular to the Atlantic winds. Dune de Pilat is like a huge expanse, like a city, but just of sand. The campsites and trees behind it. There's an enthusiastic fraternity of kite surfers. But really, it's so windy so much of the time. The majority of Dune de Pilat and the extended zone is good for nothing. Paragliders, I pass over that coastal sign. There are slightly hippie aspects of Bordeaux, the city. It's got a feel to it, a little bit like Bristol perhaps, but without the edge. Privilege and money, yes, but working. Not the idleness and vacant of Ile de Ré, La Rochelle appendage. There's good reason why there's so many British in Bordeaux, and really the Loire as well, and the Dordogne further south. Real British enclaves within the Pentagon, and traditionally Brittany, I understand, to the north. But don't know anything about it. It's Cornwall as far as I'm concerned.
Wins the French Grand Prix and comes home to
And we're using our, in case you're curious to what it is, it's a vintage sports car now, a Vauxhall VX220 that at what might prove to be the height of global civilization, 2008-2009, was a mass market manufacturer's version of the Lotus Elise, based on an aluminium chassis and a saloon car engine, naturally aspirated,